What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Between the Cons. My name is Chris, and with me today, MF Dane.
Tripping off the beat kinda, dripping off the meat grinder, heat niner, pimping, stripping, soft, sweet minor. Soft, sweet minor? What are you talking about, MF Doom?
I don't think that's appropriate.
I said that, and it made me uncomfortable. I was like reading it, and I was like, ugh.
Things I wish I could have left unsaid. Anyways.
Things I wish I could have taken back.
It makes me think of, Phantom Tollbooth, where he eats his words. And he, gives a speech. And then everybody else is like, hamburger, chicken fingers, french fries. Anyways, thanks to everybody for tuning in today. If you're not already, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those at Between the Cons. And subscribe to our show. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartMusic, or iHeartRadio, iHeartMusic also, just plainly stated. I
heard it.
Yeah, I heart music. I do. We're on YouTube. We've got an RSS feed. We're on Overcast. All those things. Check out betweenthecons.com/subscribe. Pick your podcast player preference, and it'll link out to that so you can subscribe from there. Today, we've got a Topic Thunder episode for you, and it's gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be not for everybody. I'll say that,
especially because I'm here.
Especially, but let's go ahead and jump into it. Topic Thunder. Here we go. So, last weekend, not this most recent weekend, but the weekend before, the weekend of the 11th, there was a rally to protest against the removal of Confederate monuments and memorials from public spaces, specifically the Robert E. Lee statue in Emancipation Park. The rally was met with opposition and quickly led to a breakout of violence in the name of hatred in Charlottesville, Virginia. I intentionally use the word hatred because I've seen a lot of people call it ignorance, and I don't like that. To quote my friend Sam, racism is not a form of ignorance, though certainly some people who are racist may also be ignorant. Racism is a form of hatred of evil. That being said, and hopefully it goes without saying, we don't agree with white supremacists, white nationalists, alt-rights, neo-Confederates, neo-Nazis, groups of the like, especially when their hatred and bigotry encourage or result in events like last weekend in Charlottesville.
I think I'm on the wrong podcast because I thought those were all the things we were about.
Yeah,
that's why I joined. I am self-hating. I actually originally wanted my name to be Uncle Tom on this podcast, but I figured that's be not obvious.
Like that Dave Chappelle skit.
I am here to bring brevity into this dark situation, and I will do it.
But our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Heather Heyer, Lieutenant Cullen, and Trooper Bates, who lost their lives as a result of standing up for the right side of history. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a hashtag that was started this weekend by comic book writer Gail Simone, arguably most famous for her work on Wonder Woman, Justice League, and Birds of Prey in the DC universe. It might be ironic or hypocritical or what have you, but the hashtag we're going to talk about is hashtag comics hate Nazis. So reason might be ironic or hypocritical is to say we're going to talk about something that hates Nazis after what I just said about hatred. But here's the thing. If you can say that you're hostile towards, discriminate against, or show prejudice towards another human being based on their race, religion, sex, nationality, disability, or sexual orientation, then you stand for evil. And as our childhood heroes, super and otherwise, have taught us, the battle of good and evil must be confronted, and evil must never prevail. That is the message here. Not meeting hatred with hatred, but good prevailing over evil.
Yeah, I mean, I technically think that if you want to say you hate a group, and even though they promote like hate, I feel like if you're hating a hate group, it's kind of like canceling it out. So you're
Exactly. Yeah, and that's not what I'm about, at least. Like, that was the one thing is I want to hate. I hate what they stand for. I don't hate those people, despite how the negativity, the violence, the bad things. But those things are all a result of the evil center, not a result of the person. If that makes sense. It's kind of like hippy dippy, but
it's really hippy dippy.
bear with me. Bear with me.
I'm just gonna bear with you because I'm like, I'm gonna let him get this out because.
but that's my stance on it. Is I hate the hate. I hate the hatred, not the people. And that's what we're here about. Good triumphing over evil.
They'll hate me regardless, so I'll just say I hate them too. Whatever.
Hashtag podcast too black.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna make this podcast too black. I'm trying not to. That's why I'm being quiet on this opening thing.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And actually, a member of the Mobile, Alabama government said today, not to let, as a white person, as a white person, not to let people like this speak for me. Hashtag you don't speak for me is a hashtag that she started. So I think that's like, this is kind of my way of getting that out on behalf of myself, on behalf of all of the hosts at Between the Cons. That's, you don't speak for me, especially Dane. You don't speak for Dane. But what we're going to talk about today is the hashtag. And that hashtag, Gail Simone encouraged her Twitter followers, really all of Twitter, to post pictures of comic book characters triumphing over Nazis. Really punching Nazis in the face.
Yeah, just by triumphing, he means beating the tar out of Nazis.
I wanted to repeat myself. Good prevailing over evil and punching it in the face. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run through like a pretty big list, honestly, of mainstream and lesser known heroes that have had confrontations with Nazis, whether it be Hitler himself or just other Nazis. I think Hitler himself is probably the best place to start. World War II, Captain America. I mean, arguably one of the most iconic Captain America like pieces of art is from him punching Hitler in the face on the cover of a Captain America comic book. He was World War II's, like, Marvel's response to World War II. He was the American symbol, and he punched Nazis in the face. So I think that one's kind of a dead giveaway. And then actually on Sam Wilson Captain America, in Sam Wilson Captain America, the newest comic book iteration of Captain America, there's a variant cover for the 75th anniversary issue where the original cover is Sam Wilson punching a guy, and in the variant cover it's Captain America at like Steve Rogers Captain America punching Hitler, coming back 75 years later. So I think that one's kind of a giveaway. Other kind of giveaway, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, for those of you that saw the movie, World War era super heroine. She totally punched Hitler in the face as well. She punched a lot of Nazis in the face.
She punched a lot of Nazis.
Yeah. She over her years, her and Superman both. Her and Superman both have punched a lot of Nazis.
They're like, she's just an Amazon, but he's like actually American, so he's just like, no Nazis here. There's like one, I think like my favorite was, there were a couple like really good ones. Like there was one where it was like Superman holding Hitler away from Radio Berlin.
Yeah.
And it was like a saying like, it's not only just about keeping them quiet, it's about making sure they don't have a platform to speak on.
Boom.
And there was another one that was really good, that it was just like him swimming, and it was like, he can fly, he just wants them to know he's coming for him.
Well, there's one cover for an old Superman book that is like him doing his like heroic one fist in the air, one fist on his hip pose, flying, and like as he's flying, there's like Nazi tanks, like Panzers, like flipped on their ends and like all crunched up, and like all this like Volkswagens like just made into like sardine cans. Like in the background.
Good.
Yeah, and he's just in his like heroic like flying pose, and all this is just in the background. So those three I think are like your dead giveaways, because they're all the older, like much older characters, and they've all, I mean, they were all around during World War II, so American propaganda, if you will, beating up Nazis. Some of the more interesting ones, Namor the Submariner, also around during World War II, had many encounters with the Nazis. Just strange. What are Nazis doing in Atlantis?
I feel like I like comic book Nazis are even like worse than real Nazis somehow, because not only do they do all the atrocities that they commit in real life, but then they're just trying to dominate everything.
Just everything.
Everything. They won't stop. It's like, you know what? There's an underwater city. Well, they must find about the Third Reich. Like, what? Okay.
Okay. Whatever you say, boss.
Sure, Hitler.
Mr. Hitler. Human Torch was another one. He's the Human Torch, not Johnny Storm, the original Human Torch, which was kind of part Human Torch, part Iron Man, as we know him now.
You guys saw the actual first Iron Man movie? No, the first Captain America. There's a Human Torch.
Yeah,
suit.
Yeah, there is. But he had a handful of run-ins with them as well. Probably my favorite, at least like single panel, Batman and Robin, because Batman is just punching a Nazi through a wall, and Robin's like in like the bottom right corner of the panel, just watching, just like,
all right, well,
Robin, why are you here? Got him.
I just want to. I guess it's like Batman's teaching him to do the right thing.
Right, yeah. Gotta prevail over evil. Apparently he's Mickey Mouse. Oh, boy.
Oh, hi, gang.
Hi, my name's Dick Grayson. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
I hate myself.
Batman.
Other Bat people, Batgirl had some run-ins with the Nazis. Hawkman, strangely enough, I mean, he's kind of a not time traveler, immortal.
Yeah, he's
so it makes sense.
He had to fight Hitler.
Yeah, right. Daffy Duck. Can we just talk about Daffy Duck? Hit Hitler in the head with a giant wooden hammer.
I remember that.
That one's not a comic. I just thought it was too hilarious to not include. Miss Marvel had some run-ins with the Nazis. The Joker had, in a crossover, the Joker met Red Skull, and Red Skull is talking about how like he would be an excellent addition to the Reich, and he thinks that he should join him in his mission and all this kind of stuff. And the Joker, right?
The Joker all people.
Yeah, let's just get this clear really quick. The Joker, the insane, sadistic villain from the Batman comics. He said to Red Skull, "I might be a criminal lunatic, but I'm an American."
Criminal lunatic.
Right, yeah, but it's just like, oh my gosh. Like,
if the Joker doesn't like you, come on, man.
Yeah, if the Joker can't stand behind what you're doing, should you? Should you?
And the answer is no, you shouldn't.
No, and then Preacher, Jesse from Preacher, he actually said to a white it's really funny because kind of makes fun of the way he's drawn as well. But he says something like, why are all the white supremacists always like the goofiest looking ones? Or like
the worst examples of what people look like. They're the ugliest people.
and yeah, it's like why are the white supremacists always the worst example of their race? And then like the guy is drawn like essentially without a chin, like kind of like just goes from bottom lip to shoulder, and then he goes, "Where is your chin?" It's funny to me. Black Panther.
Black Panther has fought the Klan.
Yeah. So white nationalists, white supremacists. The Klan with a C, but they're very much the KKK.
They're the KKK.
Yeah,
like, don't even play. He actually also fought the Red Skull once.
Oh, did he really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Red Skull, because Nazis and white supremacists have this, I don't know, they're like, they don't listen.
Brothers.
They'll never listen. They'll never listen. That's the one thing, and that's my favorite part, is that Black Panther looks at him, he's like, "I'm going to break your jaw." And then he proceeds to beat the snot out of Red Skull and break his jaw. And he even says, "I told you, Skull, your kind never listens." And I was like, "Oh, give it to him."
Oh. Raphael
from the
Ninja Turtles, while wearing a Turtle Land cap, just a baseball, like just a ball cap, just punches Hitler in the face.
What? Was he at an amusement park and there was a Hitler cosplayer and he was just like, "Nah, son." Like,
Yep. Howling Commandos. I don't know if I said this one already, but Howling Commandos, hilarious to me that the Howling Commandos had a run-in with the Nazis. For those of you that don't know who the Howling Commandos are, they're terrifying night creatures in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, they're not like the ones from Captain America, the first Avenger.
Right. Yeah, those are not the Howling Commandos. But they're led by Sergeant Fury. And they are like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to even remember. Like Swamp Thing was one of them. Dum Dum Dugan. Swamp Thing was not one of them. Dum Dum Dugan is the one that looks like Swamp Thing.
Yeah, let me see. While we're doing this, I might as well look it up.
Right. Junior Jupiter, George Stonewall. I'm trying to think of other ones. But a bunch. Their main villains were the Nazis. Like,
yeah.
the Blitzkrieg Squad, Adolf Hitler, Baron von Strucker, the other one, Baron Zemo. But, yeah, like, their whole existence pretty much was fighting Nazis, and they were terrifying night creatures. But Angel, X-Men, all the X-Men, pretty much all of the X-Men also, by the way, fought the Nazis. Yeah. Like 90% of the X-Men fought the Nazis. Why do the Nazis come up so much in comic books? Well, boys and girls, both Marvel and DC have Nazi villains. DC actually has an entire villain group called the Fourth Reich.
Yep.
Baroness Blitzkrieg, Captain Nazi, White Dragon. Hunter, Shadow of War, Green Ghoul, Count Berlin.
They even sound like you want to punch them in the face.
Yeah, Captain Swastika, Dr. Demon, Baron Gestapo, and Captain Murder. Those are the fourth. Those people make up the Fourth Reich. Also, Adolf Hitler used to run that group, and then Captain Nazi took over.
Captain Nazi.
And then for Marvel, they don't have a like Nazi-esque villain group. They just fight Nazis, like for real Nazis.
Yeah, like the least you'll ever hear them not say Nazi is when they're just talking about Hydra.
Yeah. Hydra is like the most roundabout way they'll say Nazi, but it's totally a Nazi organization. It's like
Hydra's like the alt-right today. They're just trying to say they're not Nazis, even though they're blatantly Nazis.
Right.
They just want to give themselves a more less sinister sounding name, even though Hydra isn't really much better.
Right. But so Adolf Hitler was a huge villain in Marvel for a while. And then Red Skull, Johann Schmidt took over, running Hydra, doing all that. Baron Zemo, Baron von Strucker, Arnim Zola, Nathaniel Essex, who is Mr. Sinister. He wasn't super loyal to the cause, but he was a big player. General Brinkhaus, Otto Weiss. Other notable people that were in Nazi Germany in Marvel Comics, Joseph Goebbels.
Oh yeah,
who was
filmmaker?
Who was actually Nazi? Like pretty much all of Adolf Hitler's cabinet. Actually, like if they were a real person
and a Nazi,
yeah, and a Nazi, yeah, they made him a real villain. And not with special powers, not like super villain, just them in comics as themselves being terrible. And that was their supervillain. That was how they were a supervillain.
Like they didn't even get powers; they were just evil, and that was enough.
Right. It's like you're a bad dude. You should be a supervillain. I don't have superpowers, but you're bad enough to make it work. Some lesser known ones. There's this in the Marvel universe. There's this super team called the Liberty Legion, which is just the best. And it's like the opposite of the Fourth Reich. It's like all these overly patriotic names. And they were kind of like the Avengers for America. But Blue Diamond, Bucky Barnes, before he became the sidekick of Captain America, he just went by Bucky and he was a superhero. Jack Frost, essentially Iceman, Miss America, Patriot, Red Raven, Thin Man, and Whizzer. They were the Liberty Legion. They took on the Nazis a lot. Blue Diamond, Bucky, and Patriot actually responsible for a lot of triumphs.
Yeah.
Deaths. A lot of Nazi deaths. And then DC had this character that they acquired from Wildstorm Publishing called Midnighter. Midnighter fought the Nazis a lot. And then actually, as I'm thinking about it, I don't remember who fought him, but there was a Weird Tales, which was under Marvel, where there were Nazi apes, like Nazi gorillas. This is not a joke. This is not a
Howard
joke.
the Duck?
No, it was Weird Tales. It was Weird War Tales. Would you dare defy the primate platoon? And it's Nazi gorillas. I kid you not. I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to remember.
I feel like that would make no sense. Like, who would be, like, why would Nazis even allow gorillas? I feel like gorillas are too close to black people for them.
Ooh.
I mean, if we're going to be talking about how they're racists, let's be real.
All right. Here we go. All right.
I like how you just got genuinely uncomfortable when I said that.
Brainwashed Nazi guerrillas versus American POWs. So it was just American POWs. Oh my gosh.
Fighting Nazi guerrillas.
Fighting Nazi guerrillas. Batman, Aquaman fought some Nazis in scuba gear. Sergeant Rock. I'm just looking through this.
I looked up this like
post now.
List of like supervillains and like that were like, you know, white supremacists or even like Nazis or just like that. Yeah. And I died because one of them had the best name for all of them, and it was a female, and she was a part of a team that DC had. Like, and the way their art style looked was really old team, but her name was Blind Faith.
Oh my god.
I was like, somebody got heated and made her.
Oh yeah, check this out, clowns.
Do you not get the message?
Oh my gosh. 7 appearances across DC Comics.
Oh, Blind Faith?
Yeah.
Like,
Justice League Task Force. Oh my gosh, this one's fairly new, early 90s.
Oh wow. But yeah, her name was Blind Faith.
Yeah, she was actually a part of the Aryan Brigade.
Of course she was.
Which team leader Backlash, current and former members. Bonehead.
Damn, they were really
Luftwaffe? I don't even know what that is. Heatmonger, Reb, Blind Faith, Golden Eagle 2, which is apparently the sequel person, and Iron Cross. So yeah, that's interesting. And that's really new. That's early 90s is when that team came around.
You know what?
Luftwaffe.
I'm pretty sure it's Luftwaffe, but it's like the German Air Force from like back in the day. That's what they were.
Oh.
The Nazi Air Force?
Sure. Whatever you say, boss.
No, that's what that is who they were. The Luftwaffe, they were the Nazi Air Force.
He has a
that's where his dumb name came from.
He's intense. He's got like a gas mask, these big old gauntlets. Like if he wasn't a Nazi, he'd look really cool.
I really like always laugh. I feel like they should make they should make some like alt-right villains and then they're just all confused. Why are you fighting us, Captain America? We're on your side. No, you're not.
Like Bad Tan? Yeah. Could that be one?
Bad Tan.
Yeah. He could be the leader of that group.
Or Inheritance.
Oh, awkward.
They have terrible like names, and they're all like, I want like Captain America fight something. They're like, why are you fighting this Cap? We're on your side. You are holding a Nazi flag. Like, how? How are you on my side?
What is happening?
What is this world becoming?
But yeah, really, all I'm trying to say is a bunch of superheroes have punched Nazis. That's all I'm trying to say. In the good versus evil argument, I don't know many superheroes that are evil. That's all I'm trying to say.
Like, let's be real right now. The current run of Marvel, Captain America apparently was a secret Nazi, and now he's the biggest bad guy they've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, he's the worst. And it's not even a secret Nazi, he's a secret Hydra agent, which is basically just a secret Nazi. But yeah, it's terrible. Like, I hate that. I've read most of that story, and it's a good story. I'll give it that. It's a good storyline. But like, dang it, man!
Don't turn Cap to a Nazi.
So I don't know. Now, at least I don't even know why we did this episode.
We were just talking about how we don't support Nazis.
Yeah, we just don't. And here's some other people, fictional, that also don't approve. The Joker doesn't approve of Nazis.
We said that already. Whatever. We gotta say that again. The Joker doesn't approve of Nazis.
Yeah, and Harley Quinn also on that list. His crazy, just absolutely bonkers girlfriend also does not appreciate Nazis. Hits one with a baseball bat. True story. It was post Jester, so it wasn't the big hammer. I wish it would have been the big hammer. That would.
No one likes Nazis. Is what we're getting at.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say. And not only does no one like Nazis, but now you know of a lot of superheroes that have punched Nazis in case you ever need to spout that off in some sort of weird trivia event.
Or in case you ever need some inspiration in case you decide to punch a Nazi. I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying.
Just saying. But yeah, that's it. Charlottesville was a bad time. It was not a fun thing. And the worst part is that it happens a lot.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't let it. You shouldn't let it happen. Stand up for what's right. Be on the right side of history. Stand with Captain America, Wonder Woman, Superwoman, Superman.
Don't stand on the side of people that wave flags of traitors to North America.
Yeah.
Or the USA in general. Like, all right, yeah. Well, your two main flags are an enemy we defeated 70 years ago.
And the other one, we defeated ourselves.
We defeated ourselves over 100, almost 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, like that's it. Like, there are two sides that lost, and you're waving their flags around and saying you're a proud American.
Yeah. I think my wife can hear what we're talking about because she just sent me a post. She sent me a tweet that says only this country would be stupid enough to start a civil war over statues from the last Civil War.
Right?
So
why do we live here? Like,
I'll tell you real quick and right now, that war will be over so fast.
Right?
If there is a second World War, I know a lot of people that would sympathize with the neo-Nazi white supremacist side of things. I don't know any of them that would take up arms.
Right? Like,
in support. Like, I know a bunch of stupid rednecks. I'll say it. I know a bunch of stupid rednecks that would sympathize with that side. But I don't know one that would pick up a gun on behalf.
Wait a minute. Like, the rest of America? I don't know, dog. You might have to take the L on this one.
Wait, you mean like everybody?
Like everyone else in the U.S.? I'm going to say let's just take an L.
Just chalk it up.
I'm putting down my tiki torch. I'm just going to sit at home quietly and
my
just...
Home Depot tiki torch? Oh, man.
I'm just fester instead. I don't want to have to deal with an actual battle.
Right. Oh, man. But
this episode got out of control.
this episode's been fun. Just kind of really serious and then super goofy for the rest of the time. But yeah, that's it. That's all we've got for Topic Thunder. So let's chat about some jams really quick, and then we'll let you guys go on about your business, chock full of comic Nazi trivia.
What's your jam?
So, Dane, what's your jam?
Yes. My jam, late to the party, right now is Game of Thrones.
Super late.
So, and honestly, I told Chris this before we started recording, and I was realizing as I was like looking through, I was like, it's kind of gonna be what's my jam? And just so you guys know, the way this started, in case you're like, wow, Dane, why are you just now getting on Game of Thrones? So, like, years ago, I started it around the time of season 4. And I started from season 1 and then got to the end of season 2, and I kind of just stopped watching. I think what the real reason was I was torrenting all the episodes.
There it is.
And I couldn't get a good one of season 3 yet, and I just like, whatever. But now that I have a friend's HBO Go password, I can binge
Barely better.
slightly better. I can binge like the rest of them. What actually started it was I was gonna play Telltale Games Game of Thrones until I found out it took place after the Red Wedding. Like, well, dang it! I guess I gotta start watching it. And now I'm the worst.
And now I'm just the worst.
It is, man. Like, I just started talking to this girl that I've been hanging out with, and she's a huge fan of it. So I remember we were like at her house, and she's like, "So are you all caught up now?" I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Tell me all your theories." And I was like, "Okay." And I just like jumped into it, and I'm like, "How did I get here so fast?"
What happened to me?
I'm already trying to find out who's who and who's gonna fill for who's gonna be the prophecy, who's gonna be this person, what's going on. Seriously, I want that John reveal to happen that way. I want it to be just Donnell Rawlings in the background yelling at who Jon Snow is. In case you guys don't know, Donnell Rawlings was one of the regular cast members of the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, he was the guy that just obnoxiously yelled at everything.
He was the "I'm rich." That was him. He was also the one who got shot by Wayne Brady outside the club in the Wayne Brady skit.
Yep.
Oh no, son, it's Wayne Brady. I just want Donnell Rawlings on there to announce Jon Snow's true heritage, just like as a side character with one line. Like I want him to be like surprisingly and unsullied,
Like
just
like
yelling that.
Like you could make him like a stable boy.
Like some random
Like
dude
just
who happens to be around.
background. Like perfect background.
But he's the one but he knows like all the lore of all the families, so he's just there like, oh snap, he ain't burning up, what? Like just yelling words.
Oh my god.
I mean, come on, Game of Thrones needs more black people anyway.
Oh.
So quote John Boyega. I'm gonna pass the buck of blame to a famous person.
There you go.
That's how I do it.
That's how I
But
do
yeah,
it.
I'm really into Game of Thrones a lot, like really into it, and I'm really starting to hate myself for it.
Good. You should.
I feel like I should. So Chris, what's your jam?
I have probably the least popular jam of all time. So
Not watching Game of Thrones?
in Colorado, not watching Game of Thrones is my jam right now. Reading all the spoilers and just being like, what is going on?
Honestly,
Oh wait, I don't care.
I knew
That's my
half
jam.
the spoilers going in. I knew half the spoilers going into that show, and then when I watched them, I was just like, okay, well, I'm still shocked and
Well, there's
flabbergasted.
that. There's that.
There's that.
No, but my unpopular jam. In Colorado, we have a pretty large ISP, internet service provider called CenturyLink. And I've been using CenturyLink since I moved into my wife and I's apartment before we got married. So last August, actually, about a year ago, and a little over a year ago, and it's been terrible. It's been a terrible time, trying to like run updates on apps. Like, I'll get like 3 or 4 apps in the app store that say they're ready for an update. I'll connect to Wi-Fi, tell it to download, and it'll take like 15 minutes. It's insane. And then like whenever I want to download a new playlist, like if I'm gonna travel, like get on a plane and I want to download a playlist to have it on my phone for offline mode, it'll take like an hour for like 40 songs to download. It's insane. So recently we realized, okay, our special contract, whatever thing, is running up. So let's go ahead and switch. So we switched to Comcast. Comcast had a deal for the exact same price for, get this, 150% faster speeds. So we were getting 40 megs with CenturyLink. On paper, 40 megs. We were realistically getting less than 10 on Wi-Fi download speeds. With Comcast, it's the same price, but it's the other way around. We're getting 100 megs, but 100 megs on paper. The first speed test I ran once we had it was 127 megs download. For the same price, we were getting 40 at this other provider, CenturyLink. I'm going to run, as I'm talking right now, I'm going to go to fast.com and run a quick speed test. And I'm on Skype. And my wife is streaming Netflix downstairs. So we'll see how that shakes out. 56 megs. So still way better.
So you are now with Skyping and browsing the internet and your wife streaming Netflix downstairs.
Yeah.
You are now getting what you have with CenturyLink.
Yeah.
And still more.
Right. Because all of this is maintaining as well.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like it's really great. We also had a really, really bad experience trying to disconnect our CenturyLink. I told the guy like right up front, like, yeah, we're moving to another ISP, found a better price, and it's honestly, it fits our needs more. And he was like, well, no, it doesn't actually. It was like, excuse you? Did you just tell me Did you just tell me that your service fits my needs better than this thing that gives me 150% more internet, like faster speed?
Are you just that butthurt
for the same price?
You're trying to come at me.
And he was just like, well, let's see if we can find something for you. I was like, dude, I already have the install kit at home. I just need to tell you when I'm gonna plug it in. But it was
Oh
bad.
my God. I'm glad I wasn't there for that exchange.
Oh my gosh! And then they sent an email. Okay, first and foremost, I called and had the CenturyLink set up initially. When I called to cancel it, I had everything set up under my wife's name because she handles all the bills and everything. So I had it set up under her name.
Because responsible.
Right. Well, she keeps track of all that stuff a lot better than I can. And she's real meticulous about it. She's great with it. But so I had her set up. I called and had it set up under her name. And then when I called to cancel, I was like, hey, what's up? My name's Chris. Here's my account number. Here's the email address it's under. Here's all this information because I'm currently logged in looking at my account. I need to cancel my service. They're like,
oh, you're not Michael Lane.
It's like, oh, what was your name you said? It's like, Chris Laney. It's like, oh, well, we have Michael Ann Laney listed on the account. It's like, yeah, that's my wife. I put her name on the account when I signed up. And they're like, "Oh yeah, well she has to say that you're able to make these kinds of changes." Like,
boy, if you don't get out my face.
And I was like, "Okay." I mean, she knows I'm calling. I was like, "Yeah, but we really need to talk to her." And I was like, "So you need me to hang up and call her and then call you back?" I just waited for 15 minutes in a queue at 6:15 on a Tuesday morning.
I would legit immediately I would immediately just be like, want me to just have her? I'll put you on three-way. Want to put you on three-way? I'll put you on three-way.
That's what I did. I was like, can I just conference her in? Does that work? Is that acceptable? It was like, got her on the phone. It was like, hey, Michael Ann, is Chris able to make changes? Yeah. And that was it. I was like, are you for real?
I wish Michael Ann would have just out of nowhere got like gully as hell and just been like, "Why are you even calling me for?"
Well, no. Then
He's
Michael,
my husband.
Then Michael Ann stayed on the phone for the rest of the call while I told this dude to shut up. Essentially, shut up and cancel my service because
you a dumb.
Because his service wasn't good. It was terrible. I don't know why we're still talking about this. But it was terrible. And she listened on the phone. And then the dude hung up, like right after he canceled his service. He hung up. And Michael Ann and I stayed on the phone. And I was like, hey, are you still there? She was like, yeah, that was fun. I was like, I'm sorry.
I can hear her voice saying that too. Like,
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. And then the best part about it, the best part about this whole thing, not the fast internet speeds that are like excellent and everything. Later that afternoon that we cancel our service, we get a survey email. And Michael Ann texted me at work. She was like, hey, so CenturyLink just sent us a survey. I'm gonna fill it out and be brutal. Like, you go, girl.
This is like the suburban, like the suburban moment, like evil hands rubbing together.
Yes.
It's like they told me to leave them my thoughts on their service.
They left a section for additional comments and suggestions.
Like evil laugh as hard as you can.
Right. But no, I know a lot of people have beef with Comcast and their customer service. But honestly, the 2 times in all of my residences that I've had Comcast, I've had good experiences. So I decided to go for them. And honestly, the speed alone right now is totally worth it. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased as punch.
I knew you were gonna say that too. I was like, I'm pleased. I'm like, as punch.
But are you pleased as punch? Yes, I am. But yeah, that's my jam. Comcast, Xfinity, internets. It's fast. It's good. And it's steady, which is nice.
It's steady. It's a stable environment.
Yeah, stable connections. That sounds like a really terrible like Carpenters cover band. Anyways,
Stable connection.
yeah. Or Fleetwood Mac. Let's say Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Stable connections. Anyways, we're going to stop talking about this. That's everything for the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out betweenthecons.com. It's our website. You can check out all of our episodes online. You can stream them on there, hopefully on Comcast internets. You can link out to our social media. You can subscribe to the show by going to betweenthecons.com/subscribe and picking your podcast player of choice. If you want to help support the show, check out Patreon, Satchel, Amazon. Those are the 3 ways to do it. Best 3 ways to do it. If you like our theme music, betweenthecons.com/bandcamp. That'll take you to Affix's page where you can buy his music, listen to his music. He's really good. And then make sure you guys tune in on Thursday because we're going to be back. We're going to be hitting the headlines. And yeah, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, man.
And you don't want to miss it. But thank you guys so much again for tuning in. You guys have a great week, and we will talk to you on Thursday.
Bye. It's your boy Chris here.